Your species just discovered fire. Yet you claim mastery over galactic tongues. The lecture hall of the Interstellar Academy buzzed with overlapping voices. Alien student clicked, hummed or resonated in tones that no translator could fully harmonize. The vaulted ceiling arched. Above, crafted from prismatic crystal, glimmering softly with the cadence of planetary tides beyond the academy walls. It was a space built to awe any visitor. Yet the gathered scholars' attention was fixed on a single visitor from Earth. Mira Santos, a human exchange scholar, whose presence sparked curiosity and doubt, sat near the front. Her posture was poised, yet relaxed, her hands resting on the desk. A shifting panel of living light tuned for human perception. The alien professor, a towering jointed figure with 6 arms and a crown of bioluminescence, pointed one limb toward the central dais, where a massive stone slab hovered in a levitation field. The surface bore ancient glyphs arranged in spiraling rows, symbols predating most civilizations. In the hall, they shimmered faintly, as if resenting attempts to decipher them. This, the professor intoned in a deep, harmonic chord, is the song of origins, inscribed long before your species learned to etch symbols into clay. Entire empires have failed to decode its meaning. It is the ultimate test for the keenest minds. Whispers circulated among the students. A scaled figure with golden eyes murmured in disbelief. A crystalline scholar rattled its facets, amused. A slug-like being quivered skeptically. Common thought rippled. How could a human so primitive contribute to this trial? Mira remained silent at first, studying the glyphs, lips pressed tight. The jagged yet flowing carvings reminded her of old Earth research. Faint echo across time. Where others saw enigma, she perceived pattern. Slowly she raised her hand. The professor paused mid-gesture, taken aback. Alien tones of doubt buzzed through the room. Yes, human Santos? The professor asked, curiosity sharpening each layer of sound. The symbols are not just script. They are phonetic markers. Each curve represents a syllable. It is a test of sound, not meaning. The crystalline student rattled, dismissive, like a child staring at lightning claiming to know storms. Mira stepped closer, eyes narrowing on the sequence. She spoke. The first word was harsh, nearly unpronounceable, yet it resonated with the glyphs which brightened. She uttered another and another, each in rhythm. Her fragile human voice matched the ancient markings, filling the hall with uncanny precision. One by one, the glyphs lit in tandem, chasing her syllables in cascading light. Gasps and vibrations filled the chamber. The professor stiffened, every ridge of bioluminescence flashing. Impossible. Mira continued, weaving Earth's forgotten proto-languages, lost runes, and alien symbols into coherent sound. She had devoted years to comparative linguistics, chasing the theory that human language roots might transcend Earth. Now it bore fruit. Reaching the end of the first stanza, the glyphs blazed like sunrise across stone. The hall resonated. Alien students froze, some leaning forward, mandibles agape, others trembling. One finally exclaimed, "She translated what we could not for millennia." The professor's voice dropped, reverent. "Explain how." Mira inhaled steadily. The civilization assumed the glyphs were self-contained, yet they are fragments of a universal phonetic code. Ancient Earth languages share echoes of these tones. I recognize the pattern. It is like hearing a familiar melody played on a strange instrument. Murmurs spread, this time awed rather than dismissive. The crystalline figure flickered, unsettled. Coincidence? Impossible. Humans cannot decode the song of origins. Mira glanced at the glowing slab. Then give me another passage. The professor hesitated, then shifted the panel to reveal more complex glyphs, spiraling inward like a labyrinth. Mira leaned forward, eyes tracing the curves, recognition sparking in her mind. Without pause, she began anew, faster, her voice weaving syllables silent. For countless millennia, the glyphs obeyed, lighting to her cadence. The hall shook with resonance. Some clutched ears, others vibrated in awe or horror. The professor raised all 6 arms, halting the chamber. His tones deepened into the formal register for rare decree. By the authority of the Academy, humanity has achieved what no scholar across 10,000 worlds could. The song begins its translation with her. Mira lowered her gaze, aware of the astonishment around her, yet she offered no smile. She spoke quietly. This isn't merely a song. It's a record. A message from those who came before. A silence, heavier than a vacuum, settled over the hall. The alien students stared, disbelief twisting into unease. If a human could so effortlessly decode what their greatest minds could not, what else might Earth scholars achieve? The chamber did not return to calm. Even as Mira sat back, the alien students continued to vibrate, whisper, click, or rumble their astonishment across the tiered seats. No one had ever witnessed a first-year exchange scholar transform a mystery that had confounded empires into a spoken rhythm. Her voice still echoed faintly in the crystal ceiling above. The professor's luminous crown dimmed, then brightened again, the alien equivalent of pacing in contemplation. Finally, he extended an arm toward her. Human Santos, do you understand what you have done? These verses are not entertainment. They are the first stanza of a warning. Warning, Mira murmured. I only translated the words. I have not yet interpreted their meaning. The slab pulsed softly, almost as if alive. The professor adjusted the projection, revealing glyphs deeper within the stone, twisting in jagged spirals that seemed almost hostile to the eye. This stanza has remained silent for millennia, he said, his voice trembling across harmonic layers. Every attempt to speak it has ended in nonsense. Mira inhaled again, hundreds of alien eyes upon her. Her heart raced, but she forced herself to focus. The symbols blurred for a heartbeat, then reformed in her mind like pieces of a puzzle. Slowly, carefully, she began to speak. Each syllable aligned with the arcs. The slab flared bright white. The words flowed through her as if she were reading from an ancient human manuscript. Beware the ones who claim the stars. They carry fire in their marrow. Their hands will bend empires. Their tongues will awaken sleeps. Do not underestimate the children of the lesser sphere. Silence. Pressing, suffocating silence that filled every corner of the chamber. Several students recoiled, trembling. A scaled figure hissed. It speaks of humans. The crystalline scholar rattled violently, scattering shards of light in disbelief. It is fabrication. Trickery. The slab responds to her voice, not her understanding. Mira's throat tightened. She looked at the professor. That stanza isn't merely history. It is prophecy. And it points to Earth. The professor folded his 6 arms slowly behind his back. You may not realize the storm you've set in motion, human. The song of origins was never meant to be spoken aloud in these halls. It was locked for a reason. A long-bodied insectoid with translucent wings rose in agitation. If the song warns of humans, why permit them here at all? Have we not invited our own doom? The hall erupted in overlapping voices. Mira sat, attempting to steady her breathing. She had not intended to trigger such chaos. She had only followed the patterns she saw. Yet now, her entire species was cast as a threat by ancient stone. After several minutes, the professor thundered, his harmonic chord deep enough to shake the hall into silence. Order. Enough. You forget yourselves. He turned to Mira, bioluminescence flickering with cautious respect. Human Santos, your ability is undeniable. Whether this message is prophecy, record, or cautionary tale, your translation has reshaped its meaning for us all. Administrators must be informed immediately. Mira nodded, unease tugging at her. She whispered, I only wanted to learn. And now, the professor replied gravely, we must all learn what this signifies for the galaxy. Two towering stewards, their forms cloaked in light-field armor, escorted her from the hall. Students parted as she passed, some glaring, others staring as though she carried both miracle and disaster within her. Beyond the hall, the Academy's vast corridors stretched like crystalline veins through a living mountain. Whispers trailed her passage. The human spoke the song. She is dangerous. She is chosen. The escort led her to a high chamber with windows framing 3 moons drifting over the Academy world. Seated within were council members, elders from dozens of species, their presence heavy with authority. A being of shadow with glinting eyes addressed her. We have observed your progress, human Santos. You were invited as an experiment, nothing more. Yet today, you've revealed a capacity that unsettles the balance of many worlds. Mira swallowed. I did not mean to unsettle anyone. Language is my field. I saw patterns others did not. That is all. The crystalline elder resonated a sharp chord. All you have spoken is a prophecy, naming your species as a harbinger of upheaval. Do you deny these words? Mira shook her head slowly. I do not deny them. But prophecy or not, I did not create them. I merely gave them voice again. The chamber stirred. Some elders vibrated in concern. Others seemed impressed. Finally, the shadowed being said, the glyphs chose to respond to you. That cannot be ignored. From this moment, you are forbidden to attempt further translations without supervision. Do you understand? Mira wanted to argue, but the weight of alien authority pressed down on her. I understand, she said softly. She was dismissed, escorted back to her dormitory tower. Yet that night, beneath the alien moon's pale glow, sleep eluded her. The glyphs burned in her mind, shifting and rearranging themselves in memory. Fragments of other stanzas whispered at the edges of her thoughts, as though the slab had etched them into her very being. She scribbled notes onto her tablet in the dark. Words spiraled. Verses unfolded like constellations. She gasped softly. The song did not end with warning. It continued into something greater, something concealed, something the council feared she might uncover. Now she could not stop seeing it. Mira's tablet glowed faintly, her handwriting sprawling across the surface in frantic loops. Each symbol she recalled, each fragment surfacing unbidden, threaded itself into the next until entire stanzas appeared as if the slab had not only revealed its words but planted them inside her mind. She pressed her palms to her temples, whispering fragments aloud. Children of the lesser sphere. Hands will bend empires. Tongues will awaken what sleeps. The verses trembled with latent power. She sensed something immense woven through them, something the council would never allow her to share. At dawn, she was summoned again. The professor waited outside her quarters. His bioluminescent ridges dimmed in worry. You must come. The council has escalated matters. They walked through crystalline corridors where alien students hushed at her passing. Word of her feat had spread. Mira, the human who spoke the song, had become legend overnight. Entering the council chamber, the atmosphere was taut. Elders from across the galaxy filled the seats, accompanied by military envoys clad in shifting alloy armor. The shadowed elder spoke first. Human Santos, we have uncovered records aligning with your translation. They describe an age when the progenitors, the architects of the song, foretold the rise of a species not yet among the stars. That species is yours. The crystalline elder added sharply. Do you grasp the danger of this knowledge? Empires will not wait for prophecy to unfold. They will strike first to eliminate the threat. Mira's stomach churned. You mean humanity is at risk because of words carved millennia ago? The insectoid envoy clattered his wings. Not only your people. If humans are named firebearers, all others will treat Earth as a seed of destruction. War will ignite. The council chamber darkened as hollow screens flared, displaying fleets already mobilizing. Alliances fractured. Civilizations that had debated peace for centuries now prepared preemptive strikes. The song had unleashed a fear sharper than any weapon. Mira rose, fists clenched. You don't understand. The verses are not a curse. They are guidance. They warn, yes, but they also reveal a path forward. I've seen it in the other stanzas. Murmurs rippled, but many dismissed her words. The shadowed elder leaned closer. Explain. Mira steadied herself. The stanza after the warning speaks of unity. Voices braided from many throats. Worlds choosing harmony over silence. It is not a prophecy of destruction, but of choice. Humanity may rise, but not to burn, to join, to cooperate. She recited the lines she had written overnight. As she spoke, the glyphs projected above the chamber shimmered once more, confirming her memory. The verses glowed, forming a luminous bridge across the hall. The silence that followed was tense but no longer hostile. Some elders leaned forward, awe softening their expressions. Yet the crystalline elder snapped. Naive interpretation. History proves rising powers crush what they touch. We cannot gamble on humans being different. Mira inhaled deeply, heart hammering. Then let us prove it. Let humanity stand not as a threat, but as an ally. Let me show you the rest of the song. It ends not in fire, but in renewal. She closed her eyes and let the verses pour forth. Stanza after stanza unfurled, her voice weaving the ancient cadence through the air. She spoke of forgotten wars that birthed peace, of seeds scattered across galaxies blooming only when tended together, of a final verse declaring the children of the lesser sphere would carry memory for all. As she finished, the glyphs above exploded into radiant light, filling the chamber like dawn. The walls trembled. Every elder felt the resonance in their core. The shadowed elder finally spoke, awe heavy in his voice. So it was not prophecy of domination, but of stewardship. The insectoid envoy clicked thoughtfully. Perhaps the fear of humans blinded us. Perhaps the progenitors intended for them to remind us of purpose. The crystalline elder's facets dimmed, unable to deny the lingering glow. Slowly, the professor turned to Mira, ridges gleaming. You have done what no scholar dared dream. You did not merely translate the song. You gave it meaning again. Outside, the academy bells, tones born of immense resonant crystals, sounded. Their chimes were not alarm but acknowledgement. A new truth had been recognized. News spread like wildfire. Students gathered, repeating fragments of the song. Across the galaxy, fleets paused as the council broadcast the revelation. The song did not foretell conquest but choice. Mira stood on the balcony after the session, staring at stars beyond the moons. For the first time, she felt history's weight upon her shoulders, not as a burden but as responsibility. The Academy would summon Earth's leaders to the council. Humanity, once ignored, would now step into galactic discourse, not as fated villains, but as carriers of renewal. The professor joined her quietly. You understand, Mira, that what you began cannot be undone. You have changed how the galaxy sees your people. She nodded, voice steady. Then it is up to us to live up to these words. If the song gave us fire, we must choose to use it for light, not destruction. The stars shimmered like attentive eyes. Somewhere civilizations braced, not for annihilation, but for a new beginning, sparked by a single human scholar in a crystal hall. And as Mira gazed upward, she whispered the final verse softly to herself. Not for the council, not for the academy, but for humanity. Children of the lesser sphere. Rise not to conquer, but to carry. Rise not to burn, but to kindle. Rise not alone, but together. The words faded into the night air, yet their resonance lingered, promising the galaxy's story had turned a new page, and humanity was now at its dawn.